people offer these swipe files, and I don't want to dog on any other marketers doing. That's the thing. Like, I try to look at marketers as objectively. Like, I almost look at them as presenting a persona. There is like almost no good or evil. I'm not going to take a stance on like how you present yourself. You're doing what gets the eyeballs. If you're a marketer, that's the game we're playing, right? You're playing how to get eyeballs. So I don't try to judge them. But some things so, preface that before I throw a little shade. They'll give these fucking swipe files of like, Schwartz and Halbert ads.
Yeah.
Bro, copy it. Word for word. Put it out. Like, there might be some principles you can garner from that experience. But like, that's not how the biz works. Like, that's not the thing that's going to get you gigs and get you clients and get you sales right now. I mean, do you follow? Do you agree, disagree?
So 2 things. I think swipe files are typically for like a little more advanced copywriters that are supposed to buy it. Like, it shouldn't be the first thing you buy. I have a problem with swipe files in general on a moral principle of selling the stuff. I talked to the one, I don't know, there's the newish guy that's like really been hitting it lately and has done very well and has blown up his Facebook page huge. I can't remember his name.
He's blowing up.
Legends or something? Legends of
Nobody.
Copy. Do you know what I'm talking about? Legends of Copy?
Is it Matt?
Matt what? Maybe.
It's like it's Matt Bockenstette.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. And so, I'm going to throw this at, we're going on the internet forever. Like, I'm not calling.
Be gentle. Be gentle.
But I have like, him and I did have a conversation, like face to face at Steph and George I's last thing. Because I had gone into his Facebook group and told him, this is fucking horseshit, bro. Like, what are you doing? Because he sent an email.
That's what I'm talking about, though. That's what I'm talking about. Like, that, I respect it. I respect the authenticity. Like, I respect, like, that's something that I even here right now. I'm like, be gentle. We don't want to burn bridges. We don't want to make enemies. I believe in sort of maintaining that sort of peaceful balance with everybody in the ecosystem. But in a way, part of me is kind of like, I probably agree with Rob. Whatever the fuck he's about to say next, I'm probably silently going to be like, yeah. All right, so go ahead. What happened?
Yeah, and I don't hate that kid or whatever, but I don't know of him other than that. I don't know, like, did he ever hit copy before or whatever? So, so what happened was I have always had a general problem with people taking other people's work and selling other people's work. Like, I don't know. I know you compiled something and you sort of, what's that called? Curated something, but you took another man's work and put it together and sold another man's work. I just have a huge fucking problem with it. So
do you hate all drop shippers?
Anyway, long story short, I want to rag on this kid. He said,
is he young? Is he a kid?
His kid to me because I'm fucking old. I don't know. He's probably in his 20.
You get a little bit of frost in your beard now. Everybody's kid. This fucking
kid. Yeah. So he sent something. I was on his email list and he sent something from Gary Halbert.
Oh.
Like in the subject line, like it said from Gary Halbert in the name, and it was selling Gary Halbert's stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the problem. Gary Halbert's sons still have a business selling Gary Halbert's stuff and teaching Gary Halbert's stuff. Bond Halbert is like a friend of mine, bro. And like you're using his dead dad's name in an email and then selling the shit that isn't your intellectual property to sell that their sons have. I just have a gigantic problem with this. Swipe files being sold. Of course, you gather your own shit and create your own swipe file to refer to. Anyway, told him that in the group, whatever. And then he came up to me and Steph and George, I think, good for him. Hey man, you like talk some shit in my group. And I was like,
he like busts out a taekwondo stance, like, you talking shit in my Facebook group, bro.
I mean, look,
we're gonna throw down. He's like,
So yeah, I told him how I felt. He has like his feelings, but I mean, you brought up swipe files,
Yeah.
which caused this rant. My general idea is that, like, of course, you create your own swipe files, find stuff online, whatever. Like, I have a gigantic physical swipe file. I'm not going to put that shit together. And it's, how about I take everything that Kyle Milligan ever wrote, and then I staple it together and fucking sell it to people.
There's a lot of requests for that. There's a lot of requests for that, even in my group.
Yeah, so you should be able to sell it. Do I have the right to sell the stuff that you wrote? I don't.
Well, there's requests for like specific writers, like my copy chief, my first copy chief, Evaldo. Like I get requests for that. Like, can you give me all of Evaldo's promos? I'm gonna give myself a little pass with a caveat here. Because I sell swipes technically, and the inner circle is a huge swipe repository. But what I do is I break them down, so it becomes like a sort of like there's my touch on it. So I'm going to forgive myself for selling swipes because I'm not selling the swipes. I'm selling my interpretation and breakdown.
I don't consider that a swipe, especially there. And I might be nitpicking here, but yeah, you are providing like another service within it, and that's how we learned at like Agora with like Joe Schriefer going through and like, pointing things out. What I really don't like though is like when there's I'm trying to live stream to Jamaica, when it's like all from one person. Sure, like you've done that, and it's probably been a dozen or 24 different writers you've highlighted. If you compiled the life's work of one man and then sold it with your name and took the profit while his fucking family is still alive, I think you're a fucking piece of shit. Or you just haven't thought it through. Maybe you haven't thought it through and you needed someone to point it out to you, like, bro, what are you doing?
I would actually probably give the benefit of the doubt. Like it's just like marketers. Like marketers just kind of, they're just anything to make a buck sometimes, and they probably don't think about stuff like you're describing. Like I would say though that probably whatever you're describing is probably still exists on the internet. Is it for sale or is it lead gen? Is it free? Like, does that matter? Does it matter if he's collecting money or if it's just a lead gen thing? What do you think?
I don't know. I haven't thought about it. I will develop that into my moral code after I think about it, but I haven't considered it up to this point. But as what's his name said in that show that I can't remember, every man got to have a code, Kyle. So earlier when you were talking about this black pill bullshit and like nothing matters and morality, nah, man, you got to have a code, dude. Got to have a code.